Hello everyone, how's it going? It's your friendly neighborhood infectious disease guy, Rajeev Fernando, here with another update on COVID-19. So we've got a special planned out for you. I'm going to be counting down the top 3 quacks in America who treat COVID-19. Let's get underway with number 3. This is Dr. Judy Mitzwitz. This is a lady who created a syndrome called chronic fatigue syndrome and linked it up with a virus which never panned out, was published, taken out, actually put behind bars, if I recall. Came out taking advantage of the pandemic right now and made a movie called Plandemic. And Plandemic is a movie that actually talks about Anthony Fauci causing this whole pandemic around the world and how they actually created this virus in a laboratory in Wuhan. We don't know enough about it, but this is very concerning. It's actually supposed to air in about 100 TV stations all over the country. It has me very concerned. I myself have written petitions to these television stations not to air something like this and confuse all of you anymore. Once again, big quack, don't trust her. Number 2 is a Dr. Desai, very harmful. So he fabricated papers in really the biggest medical journals on the planet, in the New England Journal of Medicine and also in the Lancet, which really spoke about hydroxychloroquine and really was disproved, taken out of the Lancet. Great article in the Times if you have any time. But I'm going to talk about the number 1, and that's why we're actually talking about this. The number 1 quack I have on the list is this Dr. Emanuel. So she was actually on the White House steps yesterday talking about how COVID-19 works. She's a pediatrician. We haven't seen, I think a foreign grad degree, but she's a pediatrician, doesn't have much experience treating COVID, but let's talk about some of the things that she's also said, unquote. Gynecological problems are caused by people having sex with demons. 1, alien DNA is being used in our medical treatments, seriously. Scientists are making a vaccine to stop people from being religious. Obviously, she's an anti-vaxxer as well. And the number 1 cause over here is the US government is partly run by lizard people. Mr. President, I don't think it's that. But anyway, let's move on. So these are the top 3 quacks. Please do not follow these recommendations. I think people like this should be barred from practicing medicine. Giving false information like this, should not practice medicine. Our president, he's a medical practice also. He should be barred from practicing medicine as well. These people, they are putting lives at risk. This disinformation syndrome really has to stop. But I am open to hydroxychloroquine, and let's take it. I want you guys to take a look at it as well. So we have brought down how hydroxychloroquine works. So 3 steps, and I'll let you guys be the judge, all right, here. So step number 1, this is the SARS-CoV virus over here. The first mechanism, it binds to an ACE receptor over here and gets into the cell, 1. And what happens over here, the first step is hydroxychloroquine changes the receptor, the ACE receptor, preventing it from getting in. First method. Second is there's a process called endocytosis. And what is endocytosis? Endo means getting in, and cytosis means cell. So this is a mechanism of how it actually gets into the cell. So after endocytosis, the endosome has to bind with something called a lysosome over here. And by binding to the lysosome, when that happens, normally, there's a pump over here that pumps in hydrogen ions. Now, let me try to break this down for you. What is that? So let's break it into the water we're drinking. We're drinking, regular bottled water and all that stuff, but all of us want to be stylish these days, and we want to drink water products with a high alkaline pH. And that's what we're spending more money on. So we want to drink alkaline water, not the acidic water, if it's possible. So what hydroxychloroquine does, it actually breaks up this pump over here and makes this lysosome more alkaline. So that's what I want you to remember. So think of it this way, regular water thing, but we're looking for the Rockstar water over here, which is alkaline, which will help. And so that blocks that step over there, keeping the lysosome in an alkaline condition. Once if it's in an acidic condition over here, it permits the virus to replicate over here, causing more viruses to replicate, to go out and infect more cells. The last one is it actually increases some zinc ionophores or holes, which allows zinc to get in and facilitate its immune modulatory mechanism. So that's what we have over there. So look at this over here, everyone. So clearly we have mechanisms of action that show this works. But what's going on over here? So this is the phenomenon I want you guys to remember is an in vitro and in vivo discordance. What does that really mean? So this tells me, yes, it's going to work in a test tube. Definitely, clear cut, not disputing that science, it really works. But sometimes what we have in medicine is something called an in vivo, in vitro discordance. So that's important to know. What that means is it will work in a test tube, but will not work in a tissue level. So that's what I want you to. So it'll work in a test tube, not a tissue level. I do want to tell you about, my training in infectious disease. I'd like to say, I had brilliant training, had some great mentors, but this is the textbook that I studied. It's a textbook over here, and you can see that there's a guy down there. His name is Anthony Fauci. Let me tell you something. I've learned so much from this textbook, and half my practice is really based on the principles that he's discussed in this book over here. So let me tell you about Anthony Fauci, God to me, honestly, and to a lot of physicians all over the country. So when you're all these quacks are messing with Dr. Fauci, you're messing with all of us. I want you guys to take that into consideration. Has devoted his life to all of us, 54 years in medicine. How long does he work a day? 16 hours at a baseline with 7 miles of running every day. During these COVID times, he's working 19 hours a day to review the literature from all over the world. And he does 3.5 miles a day. So served under 5 presidents. I mean, there's really nothing. So Anthony Fauci, everyone, please receive the message and believe in him. He's our guy. He's going to take us forward. So once again, everyone, that's what we have with hydroxychloroquine, and that's what this is. It's an in vivo, in vitro discordance. From my experience, I've treated patients with COVID all over the world, and we wanted it to work. We really wanted it to work. We tried, we were on bedside, rounding with my residents all over. It just didn't work. We were all batting for hydroxychloroquine, so it just didn't work. We just didn't see it. There are some physicians independently using it. I think you owe it to the patient to tell them about the cardiac side effects. In my experience, they may not be so high. I've treated malaria all over with hydroxychloroquine, had no problems, but you owe it to your patient to tell them the risks. So that's going to do it for me today. Thanks for joining me for the top 3 quacks treating COVID in America. Believe in our man, Dr. Anthony Fauci. I will see you in the next episode. Later.